Bondi Beach is one of the most popular beaches in Australia. Bondi Rescue is a reality TV show that covers some of the drama that goes down on the beach. Here are some of the most wild medical emergencies that happen on the show. Beep-whoop.
Get him out of the water. Ready? And then we'll start compressions up here.
All right, super important here. Getting people obviously out of the water for safety, and everyone's safety is of utmost priority. Calling for help is the #1 thing you do. You don't just yell it, you point to someone and say, you call 911. Otherwise, everyone assumes everyone else calls 911. And I know I always say start chest compressions first, but for drowning victims, you do 2 rescue breaths first, mouth to mouth, because the mechanism of why someone's heart has stopped and they're not breathing in the water is very different than what happens on land.
Okay, who's doing? I'm going.
Whoa.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Get down in.
Get back, come on.
Get down in.
Come on back.
Good depth, 2 inches deep on those chest compressions, good speed, 100 beats per minute.
20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, so the fact that he's vomiting means right away you have to turn him over onto his side in order to help clear that airway. In drowning emergencies, it's truly airway breathing circulation. Like, you have to focus on the breathing. When you find someone on the street who's collapsed and heart has stopped, you can do hands-only CPR, but here you have to think about the airway. Let me explain the difference here, actually. This is important nuance. When you find someone on the street and they've collapsed, their heart has stopped beating, but they've recently just oxygenated their blood, so there's still some residual oxygen left in the blood throughout the body, even though it's delivered most of it. So as you perform hands-only CPR, you can circulate that blood and deliver that remaining oxygen. When someone is drowned, they usually have no oxygen reserves, therefore are very hypoxic in their blood. Doing hands-only CPR does them a disservice instead of giving them some rescue breaths. Also, a lot of people think that the lungs get filled up with water. The airway actually clamps itself off and prevents water from going to the lungs, and whatever small amount of water gets into the lungs actually gets absorbed systemically. So it's really about getting oxygen in there as quickly as possible and pumping to help the heart pump that blood throughout the body by actually squeezing the heart physically.
Someone to come up and get a defib.
The defib is in the tower, but Dunno can't leave the control post unmanned.
The defibrillator is something that we use to check if the patient has any sort of shockable rhythm. A lot of times in Grey's Anatomy, you'll see someone go flatline. They say, oh my God, get the defibrillator, shock them. That's not a shockable rhythm. What happens is the defibrillator actually stops the rhythm of your heart, breaks that rhythm, and allows it to restart. So if someone doesn't have a rhythm, they're completely flat, and you re-shock them, you make it flat again, that doesn't help them at all. At that point, it's more about doing the chest compressions and giving them medications to advance cardiac life support like epinephrine.
He's now been clinically dead for 3 minutes.
21, 22. Keep going, Chappo. Someone give
And the way you're doing this is 30 pumps for every 2 breaths. So you do 30 pumps at a speed of 100 per minute, give 2 breaths, continue.
It's critical that no one touches the man's body while it is shocked.
I know, but you can't touch him. Don't touch him.
Don't touch him.
You'll get electrocuted.
Check airway.
Someone there
Check
go.
breathing. If needed, begin CPR.
So the modern defibrillators are really good in that they analyze the rhythms and you don't have to look at the rhythm and try and figure out what's going on. It will say non-shockable rhythm, continue CPR, or shockable rhythm, remove all people from defibrillator. Then you hit shock. It says shocking on 3, shock, 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 and then it'll deliver the shock so that you know not to be touching the person.
I've got a pulse. I have a pulse. I have a pulse.
He's responding.
Let's go.
Give him a better.
See if he wants to vomit.
Yeah.
That's it. You've got a lot of fluid coming out,
That's what we
Carl.
want to do.
That's good.
Don't keep bagging him if he's conscious and he's breathing. I know like there's a lot of stuff happening right now, but you could actually force some of that vomiting aspiration back into the lungs. You don't want to do that.
I'd like to put him in.
Put him on the side. No, take the ambu bag off.
Yeah.
He's still not out of danger yet. Everyone stop clapping like you just watched a Jerry Springer episode. He was without oxygen for a long period of time, and that guy keeps putting the stupid ambu mask on him. Stop it, he's awake now.
Portuguese man-o-war jellyfish, commonly known as bluebottles, are blown onto the coast by onshore winds. Bluebottles have rightly earned the label floating terror.
I've seen thousands of people that have been stung by bluebottles, but this day it was the biggest welt I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, they basically leave like whiplash-looking marks on your skin, creating a type of dermatitis. It's actually really cool how this happens. So they have these nematocysts that are at the end of their tentacles. When they hit you with them and they touch you, they actually attach to your skin and then inject the poison in. And there's been some evidence that putting vinegar onto them can actually help deactivate that venom and those nematocysts.
9-year-old Zach has suffered a bluebottle sting over his entire leg.
Oh.
No.
All right, Dad, maybe give your son a hug. Like there's toughening your kid up when they're experiencing real big pain. Give him a hug.
Zach's father is back on his feet as lifeguards administer the green whistle.
So what you're going to do is you've got to put it in your mouth like this, all right? And just breathe it in. Breathe it, and it's going to take the pain away for you.
The kid's like, give me any.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Man.
The sweet sound of silence.
These lifeguards are like, can you shut this kid up? They got the kid high. He calmed down. Oh no, I hope she's not having an anaphylactic attack.
And have you had an allergic reaction before?
Yeah.
Is this
So
what you
I
felt
know
like?
this feeling, yeah.
Left untreated, Victoria's throat will become so swollen she may be unable to breathe.
This type of allergic reaction called anaphylaxis actually leads to swelling of the air pipe. It also can create swelling of the mouth. It can lead to nausea, vomiting in some cases. And one of the most dangerous things about anaphylaxis outside of closing your throat is the major drop of blood pressure because it dilates your blood vessels, therefore tanking your blood pressure, not getting enough blood circulation to those vital organs. It could potentially lead to death. This is why a lot of people think, oh, just treat it with Benadryl, but Benadryl doesn't treat that part of anaphylaxis. That's why we need to use these EpiPens to boost up the cardiac output and decrease the swelling of the oral pathway.
Lifeguard's best chance of saving Victoria is via a shot of adrenaline from an EpiPen.
And I'm sure many of you have heard the story. I've had to do something like this in the air while flying on a gentleman who did not have an EpiPen. So we had to concoct the EpiPen through medications that you would actually use if someone's heart stops and they were flatlining. Same medication, different dosage. I had to do that calculation kind of on the fly. There was no Wi-Fi because we were flying over the Atlantic Ocean. It was a crazy scene. And also, this auto injector is nice and thin and small, the needle, so it's not gonna cause a lot of discomfort. The one that I had to use is made for a crash cart, so it's like a really thick, long needle, and I had to jam it into his thigh. He was not happy with me, but he was happy after the fact when he survived.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. I really appreciate your help, man.
So I hit her with the EpiPen, bang, held it in for 10 seconds, and I thought that was going to be it.
Okay, lay down, sweetheart. There we go. Oh, you all right? Stay with this, you all right?
When she dropped on us, I was so scared, and I thought maybe this would be a resus.
I suspect what's happening here is probably a vasovagal reaction when you get really nervous, that she essentially lost blood supply to her brain temporarily from seeing the needle go into her thigh. This happens quite often. In fact, the gentleman, after I injected him with the syringe, he started telling me that he thought his throat was feeling weird and closing again. But when I looked into it, it actually was completely open. I had to use my iPhone flashlight to do so. I realized what was happening was because I gave him adrenaline, his throat dried up, his mouth dried up, like you would when you're giving a speech and you get nervous. And as a result, he felt like it was closing again, but it actually wasn't. So it was good that I was able to check that and not necessarily stick him again with an unnecessary medication and needle.
Andrea and her cousin Gerald were taking advantage of iconic Bondi as a backdrop for a rollerblading video when things went horribly wrong.
Probably. Oh, patella dislocation. It's actually really easy to pop back in, but wow. Really, all you do is you put pressure on the outside of the leg and extend the leg at the same time, and then it just puts it right back into place.
And I'm going to just gently manipulate your knee.
I mean, I like your wording. I know it's not going to be gentle.
So you gotta keep breathing.
There you go, extend and pressure, 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 pressure. A little more pressure.
And he rolled up.
And there you go. And it's gonna pop right back in. There you go. It goes from pain level 10 to 0 almost instantly.
A man's found floating, lifeless in the surf.
See, that's sometimes the worst situation because you don't know how long they've been under that surf.
Popo can't detect a pulse.
Then right away, 2 rescue breath chest compressions. Let's go.
He's not breathing.
Baggy, come on. Baggy.
Tucker is clinically dead. The machine reads Tucker's vital signs.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm.
I can't get one. Start CPR.
The defib doesn't work on Tucker first time.
Oh, much faster. He needs to go much faster with those chest compressions.
The third shock has finally had an effect.
It's getting stronger. Take good pulse, very good pulse here.
When you get someone back from having no pulse and no breathing, it's an amazing feeling, the adrenaline rush of it.
Yeah, I can attest to that. For them, they're doing this usually on younger, healthy people. I'm doing this sometimes on people who are older, who have a lot of medical conditions. They have a young, healthy person who got really sick really fast because they drowned. Then they rescue them, they restart their heart, and now they're better and they're almost like back to normal real quick. For me, I have to then now stabilize that patient, get medications going, check their vitals, make sure that their blood pressure is too low, get them on pressors to artificially raise their blood pressure, get them admitted into the ICU, transfer them to a different team of care. But this is tough because you cannot control this environment. I have much more control of my environment when I'm in the hospital.
Stood on a sea urchin.
Oh, I don't know about sea urchins.
A sea urchin is a little sea creature with all these little spikes that come off it, and they kind of hide in the rock crevices.
Oh, dude, why do people go in the ocean? Just hang out on shore.
Sea urchin spikes carry toxin and are extremely brittle. Like needles of fine porcelain, they easily break.
And yet we tell kids, go play in the ocean. There's spikes with poison in there. Future generations will look at us and be like, what's wrong with these people?
Jesse and Harrison start the delicate operation.
Oh, man.
Removing the spines one at a time.
Can they like numb him up? Give him a little lidocaine? Jesus Christ. Oh, look at that one.
I was told that he was having low sugar levels. I've dealt with diabetics and low blood sugar levels before, and I know that they need soft drink or they need something sweet to bring those sugar levels back up.
He could be hypoglycemic, as they're saying, because those who are diabetic struggle to control their blood sugars, and sometimes they do drop, especially if they give themselves excess medication by accident.
And then he pulled out from around his neck that he also was an epileptic.
I mean, just call an ambulance. Like, I hate that they're always trying to solve and figure out everyone's medical histories. Like, clearly this person's going through something and they need help, and you're not qualified to deliver that help at this moment.
Do you want me to call an ambulance?
Yes, yes.
So if you have an epileptic fit.
He's clearly having an epileptic fit.
What was your name again? What was your name again, mate? He's having like an epileptic seizure. All I could do was hold his pulse, and I was just basically waiting to see what would happen next.
That's actually what you do during one of those. If they last over a certain period of time, we can medicate them in the hospital, but otherwise, you just have to let it happen. In fact, restraining them and holding them down can actually cause muscle damage.
You're all right, mate. You're all right, matey. It's okay, mate. You're all right, mate. You're with us. You're on, matey.
Post-ictal phase, which is this time after your seizure, is actually a very weird time for not only the patient, but also for providers. Because patients oftentimes have amnesia and don't know what has happened. They don't know where they are. They sometimes can be extremely aggressive. So it's really important that there's people there to keep them calm, explain what happened, and diffuse the situation. I've had patients throw stuff at me.
Well, I'm having type 1 diabetic, and what it does, it lowers my sugar, so I can go into a hypo any kind, anywhere.
A person with type 1 diabetes is someone who has an autoimmune condition that has resulted in the destruction of the cells that produce insulin. So you do not have enough insulin on your own to facilitate the sugar leaving your blood and going into cells where it needs to function. So what ends up happening is those patients need insulin, artificial insulin, to be injected into them in order for them to function normally. And sometimes if you don't gauge how much insulin you're putting in comparison to how much carbs and sugars you're consuming, you could actually cause yourself to become hypoglycemic, have very low blood sugar, which can lead to seizures.
With the crowded surf full of beginners, it's only a matter of time before the first collision.
That's it.
Oh my God.
Lifeguards won't attempt to put a severe dislocation back in place.
The only time we do like a reduction in the field is if we see neurovascular compromise, meaning that there's not enough blood circulation going to an area, and as a result, part of that area is dying. Then the risks may warrant doing that procedure. Oh my God, is he gonna just pop it in? What a champ. I can't even watch this. That's terrible because the hand has so many vital structures in it, blood vessels, nerves. This is why we have hand surgeon specialists. It's not enough to send someone to an orthopedic surgeon, send them to a hand surgeon. My guy's just here like, ah!
Mate, that's insane.
It's still slightly out.
Slightly out, it's broken, my guy.
And I get over there and there's a gentleman sitting against the drain pipe in a puddle of water, quite calm at this stage, saying he's dislocated his hip.
A dislocated hip could be one of the most painful things ever.
He's had a hip replacement.
Oh my God. they're not ready for the level of pain this person's about to experience.
Moving him to the ambulance will cause enormous pain. Paramedics administer morphine.
Yeah.
It's a bumpy ride over rocks and sand before Danny reaches the ambulance.
He's not faking it.
Bo and Harry's help a disoriented man with a mystery ailment.
I don't know. I'm going to say, yeah.
His condition is getting worse by the second.
You try that, mate?
Suddenly, he stops breathing.
If he stops breathing, you start chest compressions. He's not a drowning victim.
Eventually, he comes around.
That's it. Relax as much as possible.
Lifeguards need his medical history.
Well, they don't need his medical history. They need to call an ambulance, and they need his medical history.
I don't know, when it gets cold, the water makes my stomach itchy, mate.
Oh, he has cold water urticaria.
Later, doctors confirmed Matt suffers a rare allergic reaction to cold water that causes hives. Matt's swim had sent him into anaphylactic shock.
Well, an EpiPen would have gone a long way there, but they couldn't have known that. You don't recklessly just give EpiPens to random people. Here are some of the worst fitness mistakes my patients make. Click here to check that out. As always, stay happy and healthy. Look at my tail.